All right, guys, welcome back. Boots come in pairs. If you did not catch our episode last week, heavy stat week, we were just pulling stuff out of everywhere and compiling our all BCIP team and all-star list. But go check that out. Still waiting on the views there. We had some good hits on the Nico video, so that was good.
Mhm.
But this week we roll out of the all-star break, all-star game. That was a lot of fun. That got a lot of attention. It was nice to see a focal point on that. We've talked about with other sports how this is probably the best all-star game because you can't fake baseball. But just a cool ending, cool all-star game. The middle innings kind of lost me a little bit because I was just, again, they start rotating the players around. But PCA hit a double. The ending with the home run derby was electric. What were your thoughts on the overall success of the all-star game?
I thought it was pretty fun. Despite, I think they said that viewership wasn't really there, but I felt like it was a really, really good game. I thought that um, guys came in and did really well. There was some fireworks with some long balls. There were some good defensive plays. There were pitchers throwing very hard. Yeah, I mean, if you were not a Detroit Tiger, you had a really fun time. Like every both
Yeah.
pitchers, Mize and Scooble gave up runs. They went over at the plate between the four or five of them who were there. But yeah, I mean, fun game. I can't remember the last time I watched from wire to wire like that with as much just focus and intensity. And I think that how they ended it with the swing off was, I mean, pretty appropriate. To me, you're not going to play a 15 inning game. You're not going to do the
No.
ghost runner on second. Why waste any more? Like, you already have guys who opted not to play in the game due to wanting to focus on the second half or to get some more rest in or what have you. So you didn't really have the best of the best there necessarily, but you had a lot of great players there. But yeah, doing something like a swing off was awesome. It was cool to see Schwarbs kind of win it for the NL, just show off that majestic power and just fun, just fun. It was a good group of guys. With the exception of Aranda, I don't really think Aranda belonged in that list or
No.
in that for the
Well,
AL.
yeah.
Um,
There was semantics around that. So like, oh, why didn't you get Otani out of the dugout? Why didn't you get Aaron Judge? And it's like those guys were probably not even there anymore. And if they were cooled down and not in a
they were
position
in
to
their
swing.
street clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Schwarber, again, it's just like another one of those reminders of like, oh, well, we just gave him away for a bag of balls and cut him
Mhm.
loose and
Cut him, like
cut him,
cut him
literally cut
effectively.
him for nothing. We didn't even get a bag of balls. But
Hmm.
they showed, he's homered in now the NL wild card, NLDS, NLCS, World Series, AL wild card, ALCS, ALDS, every stop, and now the All Star game as well. So it's just, yeah, he's hit a homer everywhere. It was very fitting that he did it, but not to be overshadowed by Brent Rooker also hitting two homers, 2 out of 3. He had a funny back and forth. Brent Rooker is very, I think he has a dry sense of humor. It catches people off
Yeah,
guard. But
yeah.
Jeff Passing goes, "What could have been?" And he was like, "Otani, Judge, whatever," in this swing off. And Brent Rooker goes, "What, Jeff? Am I not good enough for you?" Like just tweet, and then like I think an hour or two later, he had to like retweet out like, "I'm kidding." Haha, like he knows who he is. Like it's
Mhm.
he's still happy to be there. I feel good for Brent Rooker because he just he's continued to hit. I thought he was kind of a 1 year wonder, and it's really hard to
No,
hit on a team that
right.
doesn't care about baseball. So
Right, and I mean he hit a homer in the real game too
yeah,
to
oh,
break
he had a
the to
rocket. Yeah,
break the like they were the NL was stomping the
yeah,
AL. It was 6-0 until Rook came up and hit that smoke shot. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, just a just a great story for Brent Rooker. Has been in the league for a little while. Really got his big shot with the Athletics, and yeah, he's done really well. He's been deserving. Is this his third year? I believe it's his third year,
Third
or
season.
is
Yeah,
it
I don't know if he made
third
the.
season?
Did he make the
Third
All Star
season.
last year? No, Mason Miller
Uh,
did.
I think he made the All-Star team his first year.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
He did.
Last year, him and Lawrence Butler went on. I don't know if you remember that stat, but they were outpacing Judge and Soto when it came to their RBIs and their home run total.
Yeah.
Rooker had a great year last year, but really caught fire in the second half, so he was not an All-Star. But if the All-Star team was decided at the end of the year, like most or like football is, he probably would have been an all-star that year. So really, I mean, 3 all-star worthy seasons, 3 all MLB seasons for Rooker. It's going to be interesting to see what the Athletics do, because I know that he'd be a very desirable bat for somebody. I just think they would ask for a lot, as they should. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's probably
No, he's 32.
not 32. But
31
I
or
mean,
32.
he's in his prime right now.
He could help somebody. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if they would move on from. They've kind of tagged him as a piece that they want to build around, but you don't really build around someone who's 31 when you're this far away. They made some weird. I mean, they got Gio Urshela. They signed Severino. It's just a weird. It was a weird mix this year, and they've had horrible results. They're not as bad as they were the previous year, and they're not as bad as the Rockies. But it's just the ballpark doesn't play to them. You can tell it's a minor league field. All the things. I mean, they're a confusing organization, but I think he would really help a contender. If I was the GM of the Athletics, I would be listening very closely. Again, by the time you're competing, Brent Rooker's going to be like 37 years old. I just don't, you could get a haul for this guy. If he was a pitcher, like they said they don't want to listen on Mason Miller right now, I would listen on Mason Miller.
I would listen on and here's the thing. You're a team like, and I'm just gonna spitball right here. You're a team like the Tigers, who really needs a bat, and you have a loaded minor league system. They have two shortstops who are in the top 50 prospects. They could stand to lose one of those to really make a run at a title. I mean, they could, and they just keep drafting really good players too. So you got to trust your organization as well. Trust your organization, trust your GM, trust your talent evaluation. Are these guys going to be generational players? And if they're not, deal them for some firepower right now.
You have to seize the season in front of you. If you're a team like the Tigers, look at Baltimore. Look at the Orioles. 2 years ago, you're like, oh my gosh, we were picking them. Hey, they could win the World Series or at least win a playoff series, and they get knocked out in the first round. And now they're in last place, and they missed. I'm not going to say they missed their window, but it feels like they kind of did. And they
kind of missed their window.
But
they kind of missed their window, and now they're questioning whether or not cornerstone pieces like Adley Rutschman are part of their future.
But when you're in the middle of a fantastic season like the Tigers are having, even though they've lost 9 of the last 10, they're 1-9 last 10. It doesn't matter. You're still now you're the second best team in baseball. You slip down to one slot. Oops. But you have a healthy lead in the division. You have to look at your farm as an asset, and you have to go acquire and win for this year. I know last year they were a huge underdog and didn't deserve to be there. If the Javi Baez's and the Zach McKinstry's are starting to show their true colors and maybe they're not hitting as well as they were in the first half, you have to go get that bat, right? I agree. Brent Rooker would fit in fantastically with that team. Mm-hmm. So would any of these guys. Maybe you could pry Byron Buxton away from the Twins for the year he's having.
Right. But that would be a haul as well.
The farm system, though, this year is not going to win you a World Series. So if you'd like to win the World Series, what movie is that from? If you'd like to do this today, if you want to win the World Series now, it's going to cost you the future. But the future is you just don't know. You don't know what any of these guys are going to do. Look at the White Sox. They've done this 4 times now. You never know what you're going to get.
Right.
But, one more thing for the All-Star break before we move on from that. Big Dumper winning the Home Run Derby. He came through after almost not getting out of the first round. That was really cool. So few times do you see the guy who's hyped up to be the best win the whole thing. And he's had a couple home runs now out of the All-Star break, so he's continued his streak. The that was just another fun event. I watched all the first round, and then I lost a little interest because it's a long event. Jazz Chisholm also showed why he shouldn't have been there. Only hit
Yeah.
3 home runs, but yeah.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
overall,
And speaking to Cal Raleigh a little bit, just hit his 39th homer the other day, which is unbelievable. I really hope he keeps this up because I think him winning MVP would be really good for baseball. Like Judge is Judge. We already know he's the best player, but the spectacle, like we kind of expect that from him. Like he's done this before. Like Cal Raleigh doing it at the catcher position is unbelievable. If he hits 60, there's no way they can't give it to him.
Doing it at the catcher position, but also catching a really good game.
A great game, catching a great game.
Mike Piazza was a really good hitting catcher. He was not a good fielding catcher, but he filled the role. We've seen a lot of, Jason Kendall was a little bit of both, but he didn't have the power numbers, right? I don't want to say bag on William Contreras, but he's got a good arm. He's not a good defensive catcher, but he's got a good bat, right? So it's like sometimes you have one or the other. Cal Raleigh is the complete package. He won the Gold Glove last year, right? He won the Platinum Glove too.
Platinum,
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's the best defensive catcher, and he should be the MVP just based on the position he plays. I think too. I've been looking at some of the numbers. I mean, Seiya Suzuki's already exceeded his career totals for the year. Michael Busch is above his career highs in a lot of categories, but I don't know if it's due just in part that the All-Star break is a little later, it seems, this year. We're over 100 games in already, and now we're just, we're getting past the All-Star break, so we're not halfway through the season. But I feel like a lot of guys are going to smash their career highs this year. It's just looking at the numbers across the board, it seems like it's hitting is up this year a little bit, which is I like to see that. I like to see batting averages up, even though they're not to where they used to be. I don't think there's a single team right now hitting 260 as a team. That was a stat I saw the other day.
Right.
That's
right. Yeah. They're not. Yeah. Like they're not like hitting. I would say production is up, but like average is not. Like batting average is not. Production, like they are scoring more runs, but the average definitely is not where it used to be at all.
Yep, and that's been noted. But yes, production is definitely up. Again, RBIs are up. I mean, again, close to the chest. The Cubs' offense this year is way up, so you're gonna expect all these guys to be doing better, and that's why you got to re-sign Kyle Tucker. But different day because they're not going to talk about that now. What they are going to talk about, though, is they are now a game behind the Brewers. The Brewers have caught up. They passed them. It's not because the Cubs have played bad baseball. They're the second best team in baseball still. The Brewers have just won 12 out of 13, which is crazy. If they would have won 12 in a row, you would have got a free George Webb hamburger up here.
Right.
Not really. I don't know if they would have honored that. That used to be the thing. So everyone was getting hyped, like, oh, cheeseburgers, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Right. They were a big dumper homer away from winning 12 in a row.
They were. They lost 1-0.
They lost 1-0. It wasn't for lack of trying. They just got big dumpered.
Yeah. We've also entered the portion of the season where it is appropriate to scoreboard watch. And I am scoreboard watching. They are winning a lot of really close games, which is a good MO to have for a good, solid ball club. Do you think the Brewers are actual World Series contenders, though? That's the question asked here. They are playing hot. They're playing good regular season baseball. Do you think they're actual contenders?
I do not. And here's why. I think they are top 10 in a lot of very important categories: runs scored, stolen bases, opponent batting average on the pitching end of things, WHIP, Ks. They are top 10 in fewest errors, so pretty well rounded from all sides of the ball. But the way that they're scoring these runs is questionable. I saw a stat, and I don't have all of them right in front of me, but the one stat I did have was that the Brewers are leading baseball in like soft hits. So pretty much hitting them where they ain't, balls just getting through. That is a little bit of luck. So I think that in that way, On the hitting side of things, they've gotten very lucky. Not to say that they don't have good offensive players. Like Christian Yelich has had a very good season, reminiscent of his glory years. Jackson Churio has really rebounded and done well. He's already got 65 RBIs. Terang and Frelick are playing really well. Contreras is having a little bit of a down year, but he's still producing. The pitching staff has been ridiculous.
Yeah.
Freddie Quinn Priester has been the Cary Grove grad, has been awesome. Jose Quintana has been awesome.
Yeah.
Chad Patrick, and then obviously Jay Missile as well, making his impact felt.
Peralta, Brandon Woodruff. They're seven
Well, yeah,
deep.
Woodruff. Yeah,
That's the problem.
Woodruff.
But
They're 7 deep on the starting end, and then the relievers. You got Uribe, you have Ashby, Zastrizny, Mears, McGill, like all these power arms.
Yeah,
What was
DL
it? A few
Hall.
weeks ago, DL Hall is really pitching well, which it's about time because
Yeah.
DL Hall's a former top prospect. Like he
Yeah.
was supposed to be an ace for the Orioles, and then he kind of fizzled out. But they had a game a few weeks ago where they went from Mizorowski and through. Not one guy threw a fastball less than 100 miles an hour.
Yep.
So they just mow. But I just think they need another impact bat or two if they're going to be a legit contender. And I know Passan said that too, like that they're a big bat away from being a World Series contender. I think that's very much true, and I would say it's probably two. You're not going to get away with the soft base hits. You're not going to get away with the minimal exit velocity. You really need to be able to swing the bat.
I think it's Fangraphs. And again, ignore the logo on my shirt. I notice things when you watch the game. William Contreras gets a lot of infield singles because he's a big power bat, right? And then he just like tops it or whatever. Jackson Churio gets a lot of infield singles. It's just Caleb Durbin gets a lot of infield singles. So it's like
Sal Frelick, Terang, like they're fast.
Sure.
They're very fast.
You're fast, but also if you take those away because you're playing better teams that play better defense in the playoffs, that's where that kind of hitting doesn't always work. Yes, you need to put the ball in play. Yes, those are all things. But to your point, they are sometimes, then they have thump too, but they're a very soft contact type of team. William Contreras fractured his thumb early in the year on his catching hand. That's why his power numbers are way down. So if anyone's, again, I'm not going to defend the guy till I'm blue in the face, but like the reason why his power numbers are down compared to the last couple of years where he was in the upper teens, early 20s, he's got 6 homers. Mm-hmm. That's not where they expect him to be. He's not going to win the Silver Slugger. He's had a down offensive season. But yeah, you're right. Do they have the bat? And will they add the bat? My guess is no, because they never do, right? Mm-hmm. They're not going to go out and get Eugenio Suarez, even though they need a third baseman, because I don't, we've been through this song and dance many times.
Durbin's not the guy. Ortiz isn't the guy.
Just like Monasterio last year was not the guy. Just like Joey Weimer was not the guy. But when you're in the middle of the season, you're having your summer of fun, like Brewers like to have. Again, they're peaking. Last year they peaked in July. This year you're playing your best baseball again to season's date in July. Are they going to carry this through August and September? I can't imagine they're going to play to a 950 win percentage.
No.
Right? It's just impossible. It just evens out. And I made the point before too, is if the Cubs and Brewers both play 500 baseball the rest of the way, they'd each have 90 wins. That's an incredible season. So it'll even out. I don't see them winning 116 like the Mariners did. But thinking this is the false reality of a team playing as well as the Brewers are right now, is that you don't need to add because you're playing phenomenal baseball. You'd almost rather limp, like, the Cubs are struggling. I wouldn't say they're struggling. They're playing about 500 baseball. It's not, what you want because the Brewers are playing so well. But they also are we need to add a piece. It's painfully obvious with Ben Brown, okay, we need a fifth starter. We need probably 2 starters, What if someone gets hurt? We need some bullpen help because we can't really rely on Ryan Presley. We can't really rely on Chris Flexen and Drew Pomeranz to pitch this well the whole season, right? So you're kind of playing into this trade deadline where you're like, oh, we need to add. Where the Brewers are like, we're playing great baseball. We don't need to add anything. We don't want to mess up the mojo. When they could use Suarez, they could use any of these guys. They don't need pitching because they're loaded there. So that's a good problem to have, and that could carry you through. Would it carry you all the way to the World Series? I don't believe it, right? I don't think so.
Right. Yeah, and I'm with you. I'm not sure that they will add the impact back because they usually don't, but they're in a really good position right now where they have a lot of good prospects. They're very deep. Yeah. They just had a really nice draft as well. They had, I think, 3 picks in the top 70, which, I mean, got some good players in the draft. So yeah, they definitely, third base is a pretty big hole. I wouldn't be like, there's shortstop's a big hole.
Is not good.
He's not, no. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Again, they're not the type of team that was willing to mortgage a future for a season of one guy. But then you have to be content with kind of doing what you've done, not making it to the big game, or doing the things that need to be done in order to make a run. So yeah, I mean, maybe they'll surprise people. Maybe they'll dish some guys and bring some more talent in. But yeah, I mean, I just think that, wouldn't you be tired of beating a dead horse, like just not making the move over and over and over again? Why not try something different?
So the model they like to say that the Brewers follow is the Royals model of winning a World Series, right? You build this young core, you get them to a point where they're contenders, perennial contenders, and then the Royals had 2 bites at the apple. They made back-to-back World Series and won one of them. The only difference is the Brewers just haven't had enough playoff luck or success to make it to a World Series. So to be honest, like, yeah, I would, if I was a small market team, I would take this over what the Pirates are doing by a mile. And the Pirates draft well enough. It's not that they don't. It's just they never hold on to anybody. And they never sign anybody. And just their roster is a travesty. And you have Andrew McCutchen, who's on his 5th run with the Pirates. And it's just like, what are you doing with that Major League roster? You're wasting Paul Skeens. But they're a good franchise, but they just haven't taken that next step to be World Series contenders.
Right. And what's funny, not to talk about the Pirates too much, but it's like if you look at their team, they probably have like 5 or 6 guys who teams want. Like they're that, like, oh, that's a nice starting pitcher. Those are a couple good relief pitchers. That's a good bat. That's a good glove. So it's like they have desirable players, but they're not a desirable franchise. Like,
no, yeah. Well, and even like, so the White Sox have started to play well this last couple, like since the break. I don't think they've lost one game maybe, but like Tauchman would be a great piece for somebody. And it was with the Cubs as a role player, as a good bench bat. He's hitting 280. All of a sudden, Luis Robert has turned it on because he realizes, oh man, if I play good for a couple of weeks, I can get out of here. You know, like, but as a team, not a good team, but like they still have some desirable pieces that have some meaning to people. One guy, well, it's funny because now I feel like the Giants are still looking to add. One guy that we discussed to aggravation earlier this year was Rafael Devers, who decided he's going to play first base now. Made his first start for the Giants at first base last night. Was in an interview through a translator with media. I don't know if it was local media only, if it was national media. I would assume national if they asked this question. But they asked him, they're like, hey, you're playing first base. Why wouldn't you do that in Boston? What was the issue there? And through the interpreter, he said, if Boston would have asked me at the beginning of spring training, I would have considered it. He said, I thought I earned my tenure there enough and the respect there in Boston enough that they should ask me. Well, I'm sorry, Rafael Devers. Tristan Casas did not explode his knee at the beginning of spring training. So that was not a necessary thing. If you weren't working on your craft where you could have played first base, I'm so agitated by this. I think he can go kick rocks, in my opinion. It's so backwards. They were paying you $300 million. I have no time for this with him.
Yeah, and he's not really playing that great either.
No.
He's doing okay. Just a very weird situation, and For the longest time, I defended him um, because I had some sentimental value, I guess, some good feelings towards him. But yeah, I mean, just didn't fit well. I don't really know if that's completely his fault or, I mean, like, I still don't know how to feel about Craig Breslow and the things that they're doing. Like, they're a very
Yep.
confusing organization. They have been really since Theo Epstein left. They've been a really confusing organization. Like, they've had Ben Charrington and they
Yep.
had Shane Bloom and they've had all this like laundry list of guys who they just have not been able to. And here's the thing: they've won titles since Theo left, but it just hasn't really been the same. Like Theo just had that calm, and Theo's there still.
Yeah.
Like
He's the
Theo's with the Fenway
consultant.
Sports Group. He's in Boston.
Yep.
He's a very important part of just the sports group overall in the city. So I don't know. They're just very, very confusing. I think they're probably the most confusing team possibly in sports. They
Yeah.
just go. There's never consistent winning. Like they go a couple years where they do really well, and then they're like feast or famine. They're either like
Yep.
near the top or in the basement. The last few years they've been like extraordinarily mediocre. Like they've had the same record at the All-Star break 3 years in a row. The last 2 years they've finished exactly five with the exact same record, and they'll probably do it again this year. I just don't get it.
Yeah, they're a frustrating franchise to be a fan of, especially when you've witnessed the greatness, you've witnessed the really good teams, and they're doing things different than they used to. They're not going out and getting high priced free agents. They're not, you know, but they're also not retaining their talent. It started with
No.
Mookie when they just let Mookie walk, and he was kind of sour about that when asked, about the whole Devers thing. He's like, I don't go back to Boston. I don't like that place. Um, I just don't know what. I mean, they have a really good farm system now, but like the arms aren't panning out. Like Tanner Houck's been a disappointment. He's 30 now. There's no one really coming down the pipe. Brian Bayo's been okay, right?
Mhm.
And then you sign, Walker Bueller, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe they're serious, but he's been bad. And
Right.
I
I mean,
don't.
it's
It's just
been
hard to take a temperature of which direction they're going and what they want to do. And it seems like you're
right.
right. Craig Breslow, he wants to do it his way, and if you're not on board, he kind of says you're okay, then you're movable.
Right.
Trading Jaron Durant, I don't understand what that would
Mhm.
do for your franchise.
No,
I know he's not having as good of a year as he had last year, but he's still a really good player. I just don't.
it's a really good player.
I don't know. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, they have their eggs in the Willier Abreu and Sedan Rafaela
But then
basket.
I've
Those guys,
heard them
those guys are
shopping Abreu.
right. Those
So
guys are a few years younger. Like Durant's 28. They want Roman Anthony to play the field. They say he's far too talented to be a DH, and
sure.
Jaron Duran makes the most sense because he's very desirable to a lot of teams. He does a lot of things well. Um, yeah, they're just very confusing. It's like, why can't you have spots for all of them? Like I know Rafaela is an elite center fielder, but Rafaela can play different positions. Like he can play second, he can play
Yeah,
short. Duran has shown that he can play elite defense in center field, but they're not playing him there
sure.
because Rafael is better. But it's like, are you a better team with Duran and Rafaela both in the lineup? Yeah. And do you want Roman Anthony to play outfield? Yeah. Well,
Sure.
it seems like we can kind of figure out where to put all these guys
Yeah.
and retain our talent,
I
keep it consistent.
I think the big thing, and this is just a thought as we're kind of wading through this, because again, we're just like fans of it, but also you can see it, and this also connects to the Brewer thought with Joey Ortiz. Your shortstop should be your best player on the field, and Trevor Story has played better,
He's played really
but he
well.
has not been your best player. And again, we could Dansby Swanson. The play he made last night at shortstop was incredible. It was a line drive, and he
Oh,
tagged out.
yeah.
That it's those kind of things. But Trevor Story has also not been available these
Right.
last 3 years that they've had him, and they kind of put most of their eggs in that basket.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be part of why they've been mediocre, because You go out and when they got Trevor Story, he was oft injured, right? So it wasn't like that wasn't part of his thing. But they have a lot of talent in their organization. Do they have a lot of shortstops? Probably not. You know,
I mean, Marcelo Meyer is the guy. So
is he
I
their
mean,
shortstop?
that's yeah, he's a
Okay,
shortstop,
I've only
and
seen him
he's
in
number
Pittsburgh,
8.
but
Well, yeah, it's because Story's there and
yeah,
Bregman was out. So yeah, Marcelo Meyer is a shortstop of the future. He's
yeah,
22 years old. I mean, I feel kind of bad for the guy now because he is fighting for playing time, which it's a good problem to have because Story and Bregman are playing really well.
yeah,
But yeah, Meyer's the guy, and I feel like yeah, once Story's contract comes to an end, like it's going to be Meyer's job.
yeah.
It's going to be his. They're going to hand the reins over, and hopefully he just soaks up as much. I see Bregman talking to him and Roman Anthony a lot, and that's great to see. And Bregman speaks very highly of those two young guys. Um, but yeah, it'll be really interesting. The Red Sox to me are still buyers. I don't think they're going to sell. If they do sell one of their highly, because here's the thing: Rafaela, Abreu, and Duran are all very sought after. They could get a haul of
Yeah.
prospects for one of those guys and really not lose a beat when it comes to their defense. But we'll
In
see. I
my
think they'll be a buyer for
yeah,
sure.
in my opinion, again, they don't care, but Rafaela makes the most sense to move because I think Jaron Durant is just what he does. Like he's a good center fielder. Just the way he hits, I know again his numbers can be whatever this year, but he is a much higher upside than Rafaela. So for me, that would make the most sense. You free up so Roman Anthony can go to left, and then you have an all-star center fielder, and then you have a Gold Glove in right field with Abreu. Of those three, I think again Rafael is the one you can move, and he's playing well enough to move him. Last year he wasn't playing well enough. He wasn't hitting,
Yeah.
so not as him as dispensable, but it just that makes the most sense. But also, your Red Sox, you need
Right.
some pitching.
Right.
But
Well, the thing I will say about Rafaela, and I mean, again, it's the ability to play multiple positions. He's 24 years old, and they have him on a very team friendly. Like it's a long term deal, but it's a very team friendly deal. It's one of those like longer term, short, like less on the money, like a 10-year, $40 million deal or something to that extent. I believe. But yeah, the thing that he has is just the youth. Like Duran's already 28, 29 years old. Um, so that's the thing that's not playing in Duran's favor is that he's not 24.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, lots of fire, lots of passion. Rafaela is really starting to play well. His bat was kind of questionable, but his bat has really been big this year. There was a argument that he should have been an all-star as well, and I kind of agree with it. But yeah, they're going to have to the biggest thing is that Roman Anthony has kind of forced the hand, like that he should not be up right now.
well,
Like, but he's played so well. Well, what I'm saying, like as far as
he's
like his
yeah,
age, like he's 21. Like
yeah.
he should not be on this roster, but he's played so well that he's forcing the Red Sox hand. So
You're
I don't think you
yeah,
have even a you don't even have a question. Like, of course our three outfielders are Abreu, Rafaela, and Duran. But like with Anthony playing as well as he has
yeah.
and needing to be in the field, like they
You
need him in the
can't
field too.
you can't have these prospects up like Marcelo Mayer, like Roman Anthony, and have them sitting on the bench. You can't do that.
Yeah,
So, and does that make you a contender for this year? I would say no, because I don't think you're going to
right,
go far with, not because they're not ready, but it's just that lineup with them in it today probably isn't your best lineup, right? That's why they're struggling for
right,
playing time. So
right,
they have to create room. Then you know what? Again, open up about where you're at with your window, and maybe they're 2 to 3 years away then. But like
right,
it just doesn't. Their direction doesn't make any sense. Because again,
right,
offseason they sign Bueller and Bregman, and you're like, oh, they're really going for this. And then you have the injury to Casas, and then you have Devers, doing his old drama thing. You're like, it just didn't. It imploded on itself, and and
right,
then Bregman goes out, and then it just didn't work
right,
out for a lot of different reasons, and they're kind of just
right.
stuck in this mediocrity.
Right, and it might be smart for them to move Meyer back down to AAA just so he can stay fresh and get more at
Yeah,
bats. Like he's not going to benefit. he's definitely going to benefit from learning from like Story and learning from Bregman and learning from Duran and learning from these guys who've been there. But it might, if you want to keep him fresh, keep him sharp, send him down to Worcester for a month, and then bring him back up in September when the rosters expand. And hopefully, you're in a spot where you're making a playoff push or playing in a wild card game, expanding the wild card game or something. But I'm with you. They definitely need to add starting arms. They have the prospects and the big league talent to trade and grab a starter. Obviously, Crochet is unbelievable, and that's something I've really I thought Breslow did a great job with that, and then inking him to the long term contract. Like Garrett Crochet is unreal. Like
He's been
if Scooble wasn't having the year he was having, I think Crochet is the Cy Young.
Well,
Um,
well, there's still a few games left, and
right.
Scooble has scuffled a little bit. So there's and so
Yeah,
has also
except for the last start when he
sure.
went 6 2/3, gave up 1 run,
Um,
struck out 11, didn't walk anybody.
Hunter Brown has also struggled lately. After we talk about him,
Right.
so I think what happens is when I put them on my list, that's when they start to do bad. Yeah, Hunter Brown's last three starts, he has 9 ERA, 7.2, 6.75. Still striking a lot of batters out, but not
Hmm.
great.
But yeah, Boston needs to add pitching. They need
Yeah,
starting pitching. There's no doubt about it. They don't even need to add any bats. They just need starting pitching. The
they have
pitching has been the problem.
they don't have enough room for all their bats. That's probably the biggest
No,
thing right now.
right.
But all right, well, who's going to be on the move? We're about what 8 days away from the trade deadline. We know the Cubs need to add. We know the Yankees will want to add. There's a lot of teams because again, a lot of teams are in it. There's 3 wild card spots up for grabs. The biggest name on the list, I know everyone's eyeing Arizona's pitchers, Merrill Kelly
Hmm.
and Zach Gallen. Not super high on Zach Gallen just because he's not pitching extremely well, but he's on the list. Eugenio Suarez is the biggest bat on the list. He would
Biggest
be
bat.
the first hitter with 35 plus home runs that was traded at the trade deadline ever. No
Hmm.
one's ever had that many homers. So that's an interesting thing. But also if they're not going anywhere this year, he's an older player that they seem as I mean, they could really load up right now with where the bats are.
Right. Older player, expiring contract. He's a free agent next year. So you are essentially this is a contract
Yep.
killer. This is a hired gun. You are 1099ing that dude. He is your yeah. So I mean Cubs and Brewers have definitely been in on the action. They could definitely use a bat like Suarez. I've heard the
I
Mariners,
I've
his
heard
old team,
nothing. I've heard nothing linking him to the Brewers. Just because he
really,
should go there and they need him. I have
right?
heard the Mariners. I have heard the Phillies. I have heard the
Phillies,
Cubs and the Yankees. That's what I
yeah,
heard.
yeah, yeah. And so so he plays third or DH for the Yankees. I don't really think he's a good fit for the Yankees. Somebody made a comment the other day about, um, you know what? It was Cameron Maben. He was talking about Tarek Skubal when he becomes a free agent. Like, if he's not in New York, blah blah blah, it's the best place to play. I don't necessarily think it is. I don't necessarily think it is. Um,
New
but
York
yeah,
is a
The
tough
Philly's
place to
weird.
play.
Philly's weird too. Philly's a weird.
Philly's a tough
That's
place
a
to
weird.
play. Yeah, it is.
Right.
I and Chicago can be a tough place to play when things aren't
Right.
going well. You know, the Mets no one really cares about, so maybe that's the more appealing side. Maybe that's why Juan Soto's like, yeah, I'll go over here. Um, some of these other markets, again, like Arizona, that's an easy market to play in because no one's really a Diamondbacks fan, right? They're all from other states. Milwaukee is easy because you know what? If you're winning, it's great. It's a surprise. If you're losing, it's like, oh, we're just back to being the Brewers, whatever. But
Right.
yeah, New York is a hard. I mean, Cameron Maben played there. He didn't necessarily have the best career, but he had some
Right.
longevity.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard to play in New
Hmm.
York. It's hard. It's not for everybody. I think Rizzo liked being in the spotlight, but when you're not playing well, they push you out to the pasture.
Right.
But yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Who's playing third base right now for the Yankees? It's not
Jazz.
Jazz. Who is?
It's not. It's not Jazz.
No, it's not Jazz anymore.
Where's he playing?
Second. He moved back to
Second.
second.
Yeah, after they cut LeMahieu.
They cut LeMahieu, and then he's back. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't even know who's playing third base for them. So
Let's find out.
I don't know. Yeah, Ben Rice is
Who
at
is playing
first,
there?
right?
Who's
So
playing there today? Who is playing there today? Uh,
they'd probably be willing to unload the most for Suarez, I would imagine, because you can't have a losing season.
Oswald Peraza. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
not the
make your call now. I'm pretty sure Suarez is headed to the Yankees because I just
probably.
don't see them letting that, because he is also a really good third baseman. I think he's won a Gold Glove before, right? Like
He's serviceable. He's
he's
decent. He's got a great arm
he's
for
good
sure.
caliber third base. Even at his
Yeah.
age, he's still good caliber third base. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything on Nolan Arenado as well, which we may. I think the Cardinals had conversations with him about who he'd be willing to waive his no trade clause for.
Yeah.
But I also think whoever goes for Suarez will also try and link in one of their pitchers as well. So for the
Right.
Cubs, it's funny. I keep saying like, yeah, when Suarez and Merrill Kelly come here, because
Right.
you got to get both of them.
But like you just brought up the Yankee thing. I mean, I can think like the Yankees and Detroit. Like Detroit needs pitching as well. They're pitching like Jack Flaherty has fallen off a cliff.
Mm.
Casey Mize is scuffling. Really, the only pitcher they just called up one of their prospects and he got lit up today. They lost to the Pirates again. So I think the Yankees. I mean, the Yankees, the Cubs, and the Tigers could all benefit from a power hitting third baseman and a strong starting pitching arm. And I honestly, the Yankees don't really have great prospects. Not anyone they'd be willing to give up, anyways. They're not as deep. But the Tigers and the Cubs could probably put a decent enough package together to get those two guys. I did hear Jed say that he's not interested in giving away top caliber prospects for rentals, but that
No.
might have just been a bluff. I don't
Well,
know.
I don't like. So I've seen Owen Casey's numbers. I,
Oh, he's killing it.
I don't. I would prefer no on Owen Casey. But anybody else, you can have anybody else. You can have as many of them as you want. Again, you're right. Suarez is a rental. I don't want them giving up a Cam Smith. Kyle Tucker is a season-long rental, if you want to view it that way. And yeah, that hurts that Cam Smith is playing so well, and you gave up Paredes, and Hayden Wesneski is, but he's out for the year too. Like you gave up a decent amount for a 1-year player, but I think you have to make every intention to sign him. Suarez, I do not see whoever takes him for the stretch run actually signing him next year, because you just
No.
don't know. He'll be 34, and then it's like, wait and see. Someone will pick him up, but I don't. If the Cubs picked him up, it would just be for this year. It would not be like, oh yeah, let's get him for next year too, because you do
Right.
have Matt Shaw. He's just not quite ready. And granted, he's
Right.
got a little bit of a power surge here, but you need 36 home runs, not 4
Right.
on the season.
And the glove's been great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
nothing against Carson Kelly. He's had an amazing year, but I don't want to see Carson Kelly hitting 4. I want to see him hitting like 6 or 7.
You know what though? I agree.
He's had a great year.
Carson Kelly has had a phenomenal year. Carson
Yes.
Kelly's swing looks great. The last couple of days, and they haven't gone out, but he's crushed some doubles. One hit off the bottom of the basket today, but just like his swing on it was so fluid, he's locked in. He's hitting 280 almost. Like
Yeah,
he's
280, but like imagine Suarez. So your
I
order
agree.
your order is Horner, Tucker, Suzuki, Suarez, PCA, Kelly,
Swanson,
Dansby. Like you just keep rolling down, and then you don't have to worry about like your third baseman, who you want power out of. Your third baseman's hitting in the 9-hole. We don't want our third baseman hitting in the 9-hole. Like
Right. You can find a spot for these guys. And again, we've been barking on this hill for 53 episodes now. I think it's time to move on from Ian Happ.
yeah,
You can upgrade left field. You can stick a guy in left field who hits for a better average than him, that hits for more power than him. He's not a good leadoff hitter. This is the second year in a row now since we've had Craig Counsell that he's had to give him a mental break during the season because it's not going well, or he just can't seem to find a stroke. And then occasionally it's a double or a home run, and it's like, oh, Ian Happ. You know what, though? Owen Casey could play left field.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's just
Schwarber played a good left
Schwarber
field.
could play left field. You figure it out. Can Suarez play left field? Maybe. I don't know. But like figure it out. It's just it feels like such a weak link. And I don't want to hear about his gold gloves. I don't care. I don't care about left field gold gloves. They don't mean anything to me.
Right.
That is an area of the lineup that could be greatly improved.
Right.
And we're blocking it with a player like Ian Happ, who is very mid-level.
Right.
In my opinion.
We need if he was hitting 260, we'd probably feel different, but he's hitting 228.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to get the job done, and leading that off is just brutal. There's probably not another team in the league that has a leadoff hit hitting 228.
Craig said flat out, he goes, our leadoff hitters is going to be Michael Busch versus righties and Nico Horner versus lefties. And you know what?
I didn't even name Busch. I forgot about Busch. Put Busch in there too.
Busch has been leading off versus righties. He's done a great job. He's led off games with homers. I know that's always thing like, oh, Ian Happ led off the game with a homer. Once in a blue moon, that's fine. But like, he's
Busch and Horner.
Yeah. Nico led off the game in Yankee Stadium with a triple. Like, and those are good. Those are two guys that are hitting above 270. Like, that's what you need out of your lineup. You need guys who get on base. You need guys who steal bases. Ian Happ is slow on the bases. Yeah. He scored from second the other day, but I thought he was going to get thrown out again because he just has a piano on his back. It's so. Yeah. Again, we've been doing this for 2.5 years now, and it's just.
I know it's hard because I like him. I like him a lot. He's a good dude.
It's not a bad guy.
He has these moments, these flashes where it's like, okay, that's there he is, and he does walk quite a bit, but yet you can't hit 228 in the leadoff spot. You just can't. They need better.
Hit 228 and hit less than 20 homers in left field. Left field is a hitter's position. It's like first base, where you got to have everyone would bag on James Loney because he only hit 7 home runs per year, but he hit 350. But like that was his downturn, right? Was that he didn't hit for enough power. Left field for me is a power hitting position.
Right.
Glove second. Look at Ryan Braun. Like it just
and so is third, and we don't address that either. So.
Third base is Matt Shaw.
And I love Matt Shaw. He's
played great at third. He's been Gold Glove worthy third base when he's been in there.
But he's hitting 219.
The bat doesn't do it. Yeah, if you want to win a World Series this year, if you're serious about winning the World Series because you have the second best record in the National League, you have to get a third baseman. You have to get pitching. And you have to get upgrade left field, and they won't do it. I know they're not going to do it. This is just me ranting about it, but you have to get left field. It just, makes sense to me, but I'm not, not calling this
right. And I mean, other guys, like we were just talking about the Diamondbacks guys. I mean, Pittsburgh has a slew of players that are very, very desirable to teams. Lots of teams checking in on the two relievers at the back end of the rotation, David Bednar and Danny Santana. Mitch Keller is having a great season. He's got some control as well. Very desirable younger pitcher. I think he's 26 or 27. Brian Hayes has been another guy. Good glove, hits decent enough, but Gold Glove. That would be a nice piece for someone who needs a third baseman. I think there might be another arm, possibly. I mean, Andrew Heaney's not pitching great. Keller would probably net the most. Several Pirates. The Twins are not quite out of it yet, but Joe Ryan has been at the forefront of a lot of trade talks. There's a lot of teams that want him. The Braves, not going to make it out of the East. A lot of their players are very attractive. I'm not sure who they would be willing to part ways with because they like a lot of the guys that they have. I mean, the White Sox, I really haven't heard much about Robert, but the White Sox are probably going to make some trades. Rockies. I mean, there's guys all over. I think there will be some surprises though too.
Yeah, I think they're there will be some movement. I've heard Luis Robert to the Mets maybe. The Mets are always looking to add. They always have the flexibility, but um, yeah, there's definitely I think more buyers than sellers. I said the Pirates should be selling more than they are, but they're kind of holding on to their chips. Would they sell to the Cubs? Do the Cubs want a guy that's pitched? I don't know. It's they're pitching well, kind of, but even Adrian Hauser for the White Sox was pitching really well. His last two starts have been abysmal. So you trade for a guy like that, and then it's like, oh, he was just pitching well because there's no pressure. You have no idea.
Right, just like Sandy Alcantara. Like Sandy Alcantara went 7, gave up no earned runs, but he still has a 6.66, the Devil's number ERA. So I don't want that guy.
Right. Yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. There should be lots of moves, and we'll be here to talk about it. Until then, yeah, we'll just continue to watch this NL Central race with two of the best teams in baseball. I like watching the Dodgers slide continually, so that'll be interesting. But just a lot of good things going on. I think there's a lot of eyes on the game right now, which is very positive. And I think the All-Star Game did a great job of propping that up, and it'll just continue, hopefully, into a competitive pennant race here.
Mm-hmm.
Until for next week, I'm going to the Cub Brewer game. So that's the other thing. Cubs and Brewers play 8 times in the next 4 weeks. They play 5 games at Wrigley in August, and they play 3 games end of July here. So we will be at the Monday game with Mizorowski, who's on a pitch limit, which is great. Wait him out, Cubbies. But that'll be fun. That'll be electric. Tickets are very expensive, so good luck to anyone going there to Wrigley North. I was trying to get Obvious Shirts has been hitting the funny bone for me, and they had a really good Wrigley North Field shirt with the with the Miller Park logo on it. But it was only available in a small, so couldn't get that. I think that really grind the gears up here, but interesting piece for me. But we'll try to enjoy it. I'm going with Chris, so that'll be fun. All right. Well, until next time, Booze come in pairs. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.